Good morning. Today is Sunday, June 9th, 2024, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. Looking at where Bitcoin went in the last week and seeing where it could potentially go in the future. So last week I did not do a forecast. It was my 30th birthday, so I just didn't do one. I was out of town. Had a good time, had a really good time, but now it's back to regularly scheduled business. So since the last time we talked, the May candle has closed and it was a positive month. Again, we talked about it. We had like this run up of 7 months in a row, that was historic. And then it had a slight pullback, and this is just a breather. This is fine. It makes sense. It sucks kind of because again, like you kind of have to wait. You have to be patient, but you know what the overall direction is. You know that the overall direction is going up. You have to actually take a pause at some point. Then May was a good month. May was absolutely a good month. It reclaimed a lot of ground. It didn't quite get over the top here. It did go down below the bottom. But yeah, I mean, June, we've started off. This is what are we 9 days in? So we're about a third of the way through the month. It's just slowly started to uptick here, and we're approaching all-time highs. So your all-time high is sitting right at 74,000. Right above that you have 75,000. So this makes sense. The price action makes sense, and we'll see that as we get down to the lower time frames as well, to see what it was doing more specifically. So again, there were long periods of like, if you think about it, I've said before, this is a parabola. Look, this is a bowl. Like it is almost actually this is almost a perfect cup. What is it? A cup and handle formation. So it's like you have this big bowl pattern, and then you have a pullback, and then it just goes to the moon. Let's see if we can find that. Cup and handle pattern. So this is kind of what you have. So there's this pullback, and then it comes down. So consider this, let's say 2021 right here. And there was this pullback all the end of 2021. This pullback all through 2022 if we're looking at Bitcoin, and then there was this consolidation in 2023. And then it just went off to the races. And then this would probably be, I don't know, I guess May. No, this would be April. March. Okay, yeah. So this would be March, and then like April came down, and then May, and then we're probably about like June right here. And then you have that continuation. So this is something that it plays out over and over on the macro and the micro. But if you look at it right here, you have this big swoop. You have your pullback, shallow pullback, but a pullback nonetheless. And then you have your area where you just absolutely take off. You just go crazy. Let's turn the drawings on, see where we're at. Again, like I've already drawn this kind of parabola here, but this is your bowl. You had this long run up here, and then the consolidation period, which you could actually pull that in just a bit if you want to make it a little bit more precise. But these are just wicks down here. It's broken above this channel, so that's good. This is really a bull flag. So you have like the flag down and then the upside of the flag too. So I think that could put you at 90K pretty quickly. We have been consolidating for quite some time, pinching up energy, large holders taking profit. There's a lot of people who have been holding for years who are just now moving their money, and they're taking profit here. So it's interesting for sure. These are definitely interesting times to see. It's just like you got to follow it every day. To see what's actually going on. So again, we broke it out the top of this channel, came back, retested it, and now we're on the way up. Is there anything else I need to look on the weekly chart? I don't think so. So let's go down to the daily chart. With the daily chart, we're looking at a couple things. You have this channel, and I guess I'll pull this back down here. You have the channel. It's going up, down, up, down, up, down, and it is finally broken out. What I'm looking at here is you have a bit of an uptrend line. You have an uptrend line right there that is helping to protect price. So it's like it's bouncing off of this trend line. And we've already come back down and tapped this. And this is kind of, what is this? This is the weekend. This is the start of the week. It came up and came down. This movement makes a lot of sense to me. Like people are wondering why this candle happened and we dumped on Friday. So this is Saturday, Sunday, nothing happened. Then Friday, we ran up for a bit and then just, absolutely crashed down. So why is that? So if I draw a line right here and I want to make it solid, let's go ahead and make that solid. And I want to make it a red line. I can tell, and let me get rid of this. I'll get rid of the flag real quick. So that red line, I'll also get rid of the 50K. That red line is what I would call support or resistance. RESISTANCE. And then we'll put that on the left. I'm sorry, the right. I gotta hold my L's up so I can see which direction is which. So really all it did, if you look at price, it came up to this area, drop down. Up to this area, drop down. And then like, lower lows, lower highs and things of that nature. And then it finally reached its bottom right here. This is that boom, major sell-off into going into May. And then May really just continued all the way on to the upside. So like this is May 20th, and then like we got into June here. So May ended around here. But all it did is it tapped once, it tapped twice, and then it tapped a third time, and then it tapped a fourth time. So if we do really, I mean, I guess you could consider that the first tap. And well, really it's not a tap until you get like a second one. But all it did, it came up here and it dropped down. And then really all it did was drop down to the trend line. So it's still forming that consolidation pattern right here to where it's going to break out. So I'm not concerned about that at all. The other thing that we look at is there is a level of support right here. Support. And then right above that, you have your all-time high. Make that yellow. All-time high, ATH. So again, you have your support down here. It could not be broken. We see it tried several times. So one try, two tries. It did actually break below there, but I think that was more of a liquidity grab. It broke below that moving average, came back, danced on it on top of it, tapped it one more time, and then you see it just absolutely went to the top. Now, it's not outside the realm of possibility that it could drop down to 62. That would be the absolute lowest I could see it going. But again, you'd have to break the 50 moving average and the 100 daily moving average, and then to continue on to the upside. So you'll hit here. This is understandably an area of high traffic because you're talking about all-time highs. So there are people taking profits like, oh, it's not going to go higher. Those people are incorrect. It is going to keep going higher, and it's going to keep going higher until we get to eventually 100K. That's inevitable. It is absolutely inevitable at this point that we get to 100K. I'd bet a large sum of money on that, and not lose any sleep at night. So here's your 4-hour chart. As you can see, Friday was a pretty violent day. So I mean, it started off the gate 7 o'clock, boom, and then by noon. By the end of the day, it had already dropped well below here. So, again, that doesn't really concern me because, again, you actually have another level of support right here if we're looking at it. So if I draw a line from, we'll make that purple. Support. Low time frame. You have support on a low time frame. So again, it's bounced. All of this is fractal, y'all. So like really all that happens is like the same stuff that happens on the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour chart. It happens over and over, and it just gets smaller and smaller. Like if I zoomed in here, I could do like support and resistance right there. It just keeps on playing out. So that's how we do this like consistently. Like you just have to keep playing the same patterns over and over until they give you what you want. So actually this should be 74. It was right at 74,000. What else is there to talk about? What else is there to talk about? Like we're above the moving averages. Let's look at, So on the monthly chart, obviously well above the moving average. Weekly is going to be the same testimony, way above the moving averages. Daily chart above the moving averages as well. So, I mean, that's all bullish. 4-hour, I can probably tell you the same thing. It's right within the 50 to 100 moving average. 1 hour, it is slightly below. So that makes sense. So again, the higher time frames are saying that it's bullish. So that makes sense that it's bullish. Let's also take one more look at, let's say maybe the Fibonacci's. I'm starting to get a lot of lines here, so I don't want to keep adding too much. So here are your Fibonacci's down here. So I see the 50% level, the 61.8% level, and the 78.6% level. Again, those are well below price. Even if I want to put on the 32% level, 38.2. Let's go ahead and get out of that. That's still right here at this level of support. So there's literally so much traffic below price at this point that I'm not concerned at all that we're just going to keep going. Like whatever major selling, there's so many buyers sitting right here. There's a ridiculous amount of buyers sitting between 67,000 and the 50s. Like there are people who are like, oh well, yeah, we may visit 50,000 again. We very well might. However, I don't see that being a probable scenario. So we're getting at 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Should be a pretty news-heavy week coming up here. We had not FOMC. You had non-farm payroll on Friday, which actually blew the expectations out of the water. Your hourly earnings are up, and then unemployment rate ever so slightly up. I think that had something to do with like labor force participation and blah, blah, blah. Other things you have coming up this week on Wednesday. So you have CPI, which is those are your inflation numbers, your consumer price index for the year, and then month over month. Federal funds rate, so that's your interest rates. That is another, and that's also happening on Wednesday. So Wednesday, that's a day I'm just going to go ahead and stay out of the market. I'm going to let things go ahead and settle. And then PPI, which is your producers. It's like the producers inflation index pretty much. So your producers product index month over month, and then a little bit of unemployment. So yeah, pretty news heavy week going into Wednesday and Thursday, and then it should cool out. We'll have a much better indication of where the economy is headed after those numbers come out. Well, maybe not a much better understanding because it's a little bit nebulous right now, but we'll see. As you can see, there's really no selling. This is this Bitcoin spot ETFs. So again, I talk about this expansion, compression. It looks like we're starting to expand again. So if you really look at it, there's no selling. Nobody's selling anymore. It's been net positive days since May. Actually, yeah, everything has been net positive since May. We have had no net negative days. I wish I had the log to see. Actually, let's Bitcoin spot ETF flows. No, I don't want. Let's see. This is what I want. So the actual list is if we look at this, May 27th. So it only goes back to the 27th. But anyway, I want to say this is in dollars. This is in millions of dollars. So 300 million, 150 million, 107 million, 251 million. This is Memorial Day. 45, 28, 48, 48, 105, $886 million, almost $1 billion. 488, 217, 131. So there's been a lot of positive activity in this overall. The worst day is getting dwarfed by just what we did on Tuesday. So we're good. I've never been more bullish in my life. All is well. Things are going in our direction. I'm seeing all of the things line up in favor of crypto, and I really haven't seen it this many good things line up for one asset class before. So it's exciting times for sure. I'll go ahead and close it out. It's been about 13 minutes. So this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com. Also check out Pulse on Crypto. Our Discord is jumping right now for sure. We're having a great time. Top 50 tokens, that's out too. Get that before stuff really starts to take off. You may have a couple weeks or a couple days. Who knows at this point? It could go off whenever. But other than that, I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Have a good week.